All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back. We are talking about the 33rd race of the season for the drivers and teams with Kubota High Limit Racing here today on the channel. And that race will be taking place at the Placerville Speedway in Placerville, California on Saturday, August 17th. Placerville Speedway will easily be the smallest racetrack that these drivers will be on with this series all season long. It is very, very small. It's tough to even go four wide around that place for the parade lap. But as you could probably imagine, if you've never seen a race there, when it's that small, it is really hard to have a bad race. Placerville, if you watched my top 10 video, my top 10 favorite tracks video, it was in the top 10. I love going to Placerville. It doesn't matter what's racing there, 410s, 360s, midgets, non-wing cars. It is one of my favorite places. It's such a unique, track, how the turns 3 and 4 is kind of built into the side of a mountain. 1 and 2, there's no wall on either side of the racetrack, so you can kind of fly off the racetrack a little bit there if you make a mistake. And the cushion always gets absolutely huge. So love going to Placerville, and the fans are crazy around that place. Now, it doesn't seat a bunch of people. It's got a very small grandstand, but the fans there, they really get into qualifying. They get into the race. They get into their locals, and that's something that's very exciting as well. So, Placerville. It's the quarter-mile bull ring. It's going to be the Gold Rush Classic for race number 33 of the year. The weather going to look a whole lot better than what we saw for Tulare and Hanford. 87 degrees for a high. We're going to take that all day long. 64 degrees for a low. 1% chance of rain. Sunny and clear skies and light winds. So it was also announced earlier on today when I'm recording this that the track or the race is on. So we knew that there was going to be maybe a little bit of an issue potentially with a fire going on in that area. But luckily that has all been taken care of. The fire trucks and the firefighters getting moved out of the facility over there. And we're going to make this race happen. It's 100% going to be on. It was tweeted earlier today by the High Limit Racing Twitter account. $12,000 to win the Gold Rush Classic and $1,200 to start. The estimated car count, I'm not really sure on this one, right? So we had I think it was 40 cars on the 40-ish cars on the Hanford and the Tulare list. I think due to such a long drive to get up to Placerville, I'm thinking we're going to lose a couple there, but you're also going to gain a couple of local guys as well. So I'm going to put 35 on the safe side there for Placerville. The most recent 410 winners, not a ton of 410 racing goes on at Placerville. It is a weekly 360 sprint car racing track. But as far as 410s go, Justin Sanders got a win with the NARC King of the West Series earlier this year in 2024. Buddy Kofoid won with the World of Outlaws last year in 2023. Colby Copeland got a win with the NARC 410s as well in 2023. And in 2022 it was Corey Day getting a win with NARC. And in 2021 it was Dominic Scelzi. So I'm pretty sure that every one of the previews we've done for the first leg of this California trip, it's been 5 different winners in the last 410 races, or last 5 410 races for each track, Tulare, Hanford, and Placerville. So that's definitely pretty cool. Now, right here, as you can see, we got our high roller playlist. That is going to be Corey Day. So we're trying to keep it with the California theme, with all that, the playlists and things like that we've got going on. And we're going to keep that going with Corey Day. Now you say, well, Chase, we've already heard Corey Day's music. Well, he does have a second set of songs that we're going to play there at Placerville. Now, the track record, Placerville Speedway, one of the very few tracks in the country where the track record is under 10 seconds. It was set by Tim Kading at 9.913 seconds on March 27th of 2004. So 20 years ago, the track record was established by TK at 9.9. So I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that, just, assuming that it's been 20 years and there's nobody been close to it. But still, the fact that we could potentially see a 9-second lap is always exciting. And I'm curious to see if Tim Kading does show up to race. I did not have him on any of the preview videos for Tulare and Hanford, but I think TK could potentially be a guy that shows up to race here in California with High Limit. Now, in this section, usually we have the point standings, but since I'm recording this when these other 2 races haven't happened yet, Tulare and Hanford, I want to talk about potential surprise winners when it comes to the high rollers, right? There's a couple of guys, there's a lot of guys on the High Limit Tour that have not won a race this year. And I think Placerville Speedway, out of all of the racetracks that we go to throughout the entire season, is the one track where you could say this is a wild card, that anybody can win this race. It does not take a huge motor. It doesn't have to take the greatest setup of all time. Like I said, it's the smallest track we go to, right? There's going to be 360s there that are trying to make the show, and they will probably get close to doing it, right? So I've got 4 guys on the board here, and from my least conviction to highest conviction of who I think could win on Saturday night at the Placerville Speedway. And number 1 is going to be Spencer Baston in the CJB number 5. Baston has been good on the smaller tracks this year, a second place finish at the Kokomo Speedway, a quarter-mile racetrack in Indiana, and that was his best finish of the year. So we've seen him be good this year, in recent time with high limit on small tracks. What was it, 2 years ago? Baston led laps at both the races at Tulare with the Outlaws, led laps at Bakersfield with the Outlaws. So he really likes California. I like Spencer Baston. I think that he could be a guy that could be a surprise winner at Placerville. Next on my list at number 3 is going to be Parker Price Miller. So PPM, besides the Knoxville Nationals, which was a tough week for him, just couldn't really get a good pill draw and did not qualify well, but was fast in the races. I think that PPM has been really good here with high limit recently. He's been fast. He's been in the top 10, in the top 5. And as I mentioned a few times on this channel, has been one of the biggest surprises this year. Now, California in the past has not been very nice to him, but I think that he's going to do well. I have a good feeling about Parker Price Miller, so put him at number 3 on the list. Number 2 on the list is another guy that has been pretty well on the quarter-mile racetracks this year, and that is Justin Peck. Peck also has a little bit of recent success at Placerville as he ran earlier this year a couple times in a 360 there for Clayton Snow. And so Peck does have a little bit of laps there compared to the rest of the high-limit guys that are going to be coming in here on Saturday night. I've got Justin Peck. We know how close he's been to a win this year, been second a few times. He is hungry for a win. We know how good he is on small racetracks. I've got Justin Peck at number 2. And at number 1, this might be a little bit surprising to you, but I really, really do think that this guy is going to be in contention for a win at Placerville and a win at a couple other racetracks on the West Coast. He's going to have his crew chief back with him of Lee Lindgren, and that is going to be Tanner Thorson. I am very confident that Tanner Thorson is going to be in the mix for a win at some point in time throughout this West Coast swing. Another podium, some more laps led. The last time he was on the podium, I believe, was back at Riverside, quarter-mile racetrack there. He got a podium at East Bay, not a quarter mile, but a third mile racy joint. It's places like this where Tanner Thorson does excel. He ran 6th here with the Outlaws in 2018 with very, very limited wing sprint car experience. He ran 6th against the Outlaws here, and he's done well with NARC. He's done well with the Sprint Car Challenge Tour. He's got his crew chief back of Lee Lindgren, and I think that Tanner Thorson could be dangerous at Placerville on Saturday. Now, let's look at some of the guys that we know will be there that aren't full-time competitors. We've got Colby Copeland in the 5V. We got Willie Croft in the 29, Ashlyn Rodriguez in the 87. So those 3 are only going to be racing, as far as I know, at Placerville. They will not be at Tulare, not at Hanford. Some of these other drivers got Cole Macedo, Justin Sanders, and Justin Cox, the top 3 in NARC points. We've got Landon Brooks going to be in the house as well. Michael Facino, who is the defending 360 sprint car track champion at Placerville. He is going to be a guy to watch for sure in the F&F Racing X1. Caden Steele in the 121. Tanner Carrick in the 83T, who does have quite a few wins at Placerville in the 360 ranks over the last couple of years. And a couple of question marks here for guys that did run the NARC race earlier this season that could potentially be there. We've got Andy Forsberg, who currently leads the point standings with the Sprint Car Challenge Tour, and I believe leads the points, if I'm not mistaken, at Placerville right now as well in the 92. Sean Becker in the Bjork Construction number 7B. Could he be there as well, the Shark? Shane Hopkins, who is a weekly competitor at Placerville in the 21S, and Tony Gomes in the 7C car. So those are a couple guys that I have question marks about, have not heard from them, have not seen them tweet or Facebook anything yet. So we'll have to wait and see who shows up, but it's going to be a great field nonetheless. Anybody and everybody can get in on the action at Placerville because it is a small track. You do not need the greatest engine of all time. You don't need the greatest crew chief of all time to compete for a win at this racetrack, and I'm very, very excited to cap off the first 3 races of California right here at the Placerville Speedway. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to comment down below if you will be there. Also want to hear your win picks for this race. I certainly think that these guys are going to be in contention, and I think anybody on this list legitimately could be a factor to win at Placerville on Saturday. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on Flow, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you all again here very soon. We're going to be jumping on the plane here in a few days to head out to California. Going to be a whole lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you again here very soon.